Okay, hello, everyone. I'm Doc Hogg here with my wonderful co-host, Revolution. How are you, Alexander?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I can't complain, and even if I could, who'd listen? Just a couple of quick notes here. We're going to actually get into Kim Il-sung Best Korea for just a few minutes here. Just give that a quick review. We will also later be reviewing the Oswald Chronicles. In between, we will be talking to John Hervey about Black Tiger: Legacy of Fury. That comic is still funding. It really looks, yeah, I mean, just the art is wonderful. Looks to be an excellent story, and the link to that is in the description below. Also, just as a note, we will not be having a show next Tuesday. I will explain why at the very end of the episode. And let me just bring up one other thing real quick here. Yeah, and just to let you all know, my comic book Tilt 2 is still in the sign-up phase. The link to that is in the description below. If you sign up now, you will be getting a free Tilt magnet with your purchase. Right now, the plan is to launch the campaign on Monday, October 12th. So it will be arriving soon. So don't forget to sign up if you want to have this on your refrigerator or any place that your wife or girlfriend will actually allow you to have it. This is the cover for Tilt 2, and yeah, okay, let's move on to Best Korea. That is this Best Korea? Yes. Alrighty. Okay. This is written by a guy who goes by the name Commie Mark, and let's just and basically what he has done here, he's taken a bunch of communist propaganda from North Korea and a lot of propaganda photos, and he's turned it into this satire of what the kind of propaganda you'd expect from a communist regime, where everything's a glorious victory, and the leader is Kim Il-sung is almost godlike, and it is just, at times it is absolutely hysterical. I'll just let me this is my favorite part, where they say, I'm gonna expand this real quick here. A rainbow cast over a volcanic eruption. What else could it mean? My mind had been illuminated. It was clear to me now what I had to do for my country. I gathered the elite guerrilla fighting squad to enlighten them with my vision. This is how we will defeat the Japanese. Of course, it's all supposedly written in Korean here, so we don't know exactly how he's going to defeat the Japanese. And I sent them all home to their families. I collected my 2-year-old child, Kim Jong-il, commandeered a fishing boat, and set sail for Japan. Now, this is supposed to be how North Korea defeated Japan during World War II. Welcome to Japan. We arrived in Japan in August 1945. Oops, missing pictures. And when we were done, the whole of Japan was destroyed, and it definitely had nothing to do with any American swines. Oh boy, I tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I laughed. I remember when he sent this out about a week or two ago, and I remember just I was having kind of it was a long day at work. Reading this afterwards, I was busting a gut laughing, and really enjoyed it. How about you, Alexander? I think you're on.
So my knowledge of North Korean history is slim to none. I did recognize it as propaganda, but I couldn't really find it funny, and so much of it went over my head. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry. I did like the art style. I did like the art style though. It was interesting, but I figured midway through that this was satire, and I was like, well, I was completely confused. So
Oh,
maybe,
okay.
maybe you can enlighten me a bit. I know it's satire, but because I don't know enough about North Korea's real history,
Hmm.
I can't figure out.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you don't know a lot of the events around World War II and post World War II, it is. Excuse me. It is a little. This might fly a little over your head.
Yeah, more so like a Starship Enterprise flying over my head. So that was my
Sure.
too much of it, which I apologize for.
No, that's all right. It does help to know some of that stuff because look, I have a couple degrees in political science, too many degrees, frankly. But and this is the sort of stuff that I love learning about, and but it's like
You got Doonesbury as a kid, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. But this is he makes a mockery of how the other thing about communist leaders is the other thing is they often portrayed in the propaganda is all knowing, all powerful, and here you've got Kim Il Sung. I've ordered the sun to never stop shining on our farms. You can do that. Never question the supreme leader, and they're about ready to beat him up. and that little thing comes up, a couple of times here. All new spicy dog burger. The bark is worse than the bite. Finger licking dog, my fellow Koreans. I mean, it's just it's if you need a good laugh and a little something about history after World War II, I think you'll find and communist propaganda. I think you'll find this very amusing. So this is also still in demand. The link to that is also in the description below. Be sure to give the communist dog commie Mark a little bit of money. So. All righty, let's bring our guests in now. We've got John Hervey and Rod Looper. And do you gentlemen have either of you have a screen you wish to share?
Well, let's see. We can pull something up. I'll let. I know Rod has some art that he wants to show as well. It's good to be on the show. Yeah. Appreciate it, Doc.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, bro. I have some pages here.
Indeed. See. While he's pulling up the pages, I'll talk a little bit about the campaign.
Absolutely.
So it's Black Tiger, Legacy of Fury. It's 172 pages of Kung Fu Fury. It's one full story arc that Rod and I have put together over the course of years. And by years, I don't mean like years with an S, but years with a Z. Over many years.
Really years.
Yeah, over many years we've worked together, which has been a real pleasure. So we're just excited to bring you this tome. It's a full story arc, so you get a lot of meat about the world. It introduces you well to the world of Black Tiger. With Black Tiger, the mantle is handed down through generations. So you get a peek at 4 different wielders of the power. So it gives you a good introduction and puts your feet planted firmly in the Black Tiger universe and in this western seaboard city called Los Santos.
So tell us, what is Los Santos like?
So Los Santos is kind of a mix between...
Is it someplace you want to live or visit, or none of them?
Well, I mean, I guess by all accounts, Los Santos is burning right now. but Los Santos is a mixture of LA and San Francisco for all intents and purposes. Maybe, I think both from a political standpoint and as well as from, kind of the rich Chinatown that San Francisco has, but some of the rich history that LA has as well. So it's kind of a mixture in terms of Western Seaboard city. And there is a lot of social, political upheaval. And we'll see more of that as actually it's kind of set up in this book, but the next book really gets into it with the metahumans. So a lot of good stuff going on in the city. I mean, Black Tiger is the hero, the heroine of this story. but the city has a life of its own, and there's a lot going on in the city. I mean, from kind of what's going on with the police force, the privatization of the police force, to what's going on with the criminals and how the criminal elements are being empowered. So there's a lot going on. So it's this sets a good framework for what Rod and I are gonna be doing, because we already have the next books almost completely ready too. So we're ready to give people a lot of Black Tiger.
How many pages is the new book going to be?
So the new book is going to be, we're going to trim them down so they're in 50s. So basically it's 2 25-page issues. So the new book is going to be 50. This one's 172 if you include the inside covers by Greg Horn, and but the other one will be, and it's about 162 or 8. About 168 pages of actual comic in here, though. So you still get a lot of meat in this one. And the next books, we're going to trim them down to 50. So it'll be 50 pages of story. But when you have the first one, you're so well entrenched in the world that we're able just to jump into it. And you just get a lot of good meat.
Yeah.
Now, tell us a little bit about the plot.
All right. So we start off in the here and the now. The current Black Tiger, who's he actually gets killed, and the power gets handed down to his son. He's got a son and a daughter, both of whom who are second generation Asian American. So they're a lot more American than anything else. But this power is a power that goes back to their motherland, back to China. So a lot of this story is about figuring out how to be your own hero. There's generational divides. There's cultural divides, and then you have a city that's at war. And when that Black Tiger gets killed, the city erupts. So, and then of course there's who's going to ultimately be the Black Tiger. So the father, the power goes to the brother, and the sister doesn't know anything about this patriarchal line of Black Tigers in her family. But she goes on to be a Black Tiger.
All righty. I can show your page here and play the video, or actually, I think I prefer, if Rod's got some art to share. I think I'd actually like to do that first.
Okay.
Great. Okay. I will share my screen right now.
All righty.
And Rod is the magnificent penciler. I mean, this, it's amazing. I mean, Rod's the one that produced these pages. He penciled, I think, all but 9.
There we go.
Of the pages.
There you go. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes, I can.
This is the wrap cover for the.
Wow.
So it will be 4 parts. I think John can show later how it is printed in the book. So I also did a video record in my YouTube channel, also producing this cover, because it took a lot of time, almost 1 month, because 3 weeks of work. There's a lot of small details, because I freaking manic to put any little details, cross hashing, shadows, textures. I love this kind of stuff. So as John was saying, it's a mix of Chinatown in San Francisco with California, Los Angeles. So it's not just Kung Fu characters. You have some weird other kind of villains and monsters and everything.
What is the green semi-Hulk looking guy with the talons?
So he's Ogre.
Oh, all right.
And as you kind of get into the plot, Ogre works for the guy on the, I guess it's to our right that Rod is sliding to, Skullface.
Oh, Skullface.
Yeah.
This one.
Ah, nice.
Indeed.
The art there, I mean, that's almost, I would actually call that art kind of majestic. I mean, it's really, really good.
Thanks, bro. Thanks.
Is Kurt Russell in this?
As he should be.
This is beautifully done, guys.
So is Raiden.
Hey, well, that's the thing. I mean, Sylvester Stallone called up your boy Zach. I don't know why you guys shouldn't be getting in touch with Kurt Russell. I mean, it's
There you go.
Yeah.
Why not?
There you
Would
go.
love
Why
that.
not?
Would love
Totally. Let me show something. Here's inside book page, the new page that we are produced for the book. I think we produced 20 new pages, right?
that. That's right.
No.
So this has been.
Can you enlarge it a little more?
Oh, okay, cool.
So by day, Jen she works. She's an assistant DA. So you get to see a little bit of the justice system maybe not working as well as either she or her brother would like. There's a lot of parallels between her and her brother, but there are also many differences. And this is one place that they differ greatly on. And Eric is completely okay working outside the confines of the law. And in fact, he thinks that's the way it needs to be done.
He thinks the system is too corrupt. Is that correct?
He does think the system is too corrupt, but he can't see his own faults because he's been corrupted as well. So
now how has he been corrupted?
He's a part of it. He's a part of a street gang. So his rebellion has taken him to just too far of an extreme. So he ends up with the power. He ends up wrestling, with his own demons, and then wrestling with his own hunger for power. So
now, Rod, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, please.
Rod, do you do the coloring as well?
No, just pencil. For this book, just pencil.
Yeah, it would be too much to ask. There's way too many pages. So Rod did the pencils on this one, and in the next books he did all the pencils and he did some of the inks. So he's doing basically pencil and inks, and we had kind of a crew of colorists, but they're all really high quality. That was really the key. I mean, you look at these pencils of Rod's, and man, I'd get these pages, and then I'm so anal about who I'll let touch these pages. I mean, it's like I don't want, it's like I want to get to the final product, but getting the right inkers, getting the right colors, and then getting the right letterer. Rod and I, we first published the first 4 issues a long time ago, back when the market was totally different. We published through Diamond, and they went to comic book shops. But the challenge with that book was the pencils were great. The inks were actually great, but I skimped on the colors and the letters, and that just destroyed the book. Lesson well learned. So we actually went back, we recolored the whole book. We added many pages, but we recolored the first 4 issues. And we completed the last 2 issues. And then we added another, when we did a Kickstarter campaign, that gave us the funds to add another 20 pages. So we really made this a fulsome, we just wanted to deliver a full story arc to people. And then we said, from then on, we're good giving it to people in smaller chunks, but just really wanted to get people invested in the world.
Yeah, well, the coloring is wonderful. Alexander, have any thoughts or comments?
This really is anime levels of visual complexity. Like this is not your average comic. This is beautifully done. I really look forward to seeing the writing as well with this.
I appreciate that, Alexander. And Rod has an extensive background. I mean, we've been working together for a long time, but he has worked with video games, and I'll let you tell your own background.
I worked 2 years in Australia inside a video game company. So I learned a lot of concept art, for instance, how to design a good figure to attract the reader's eye inside of panel. So I applied those things that I learned on concept art. I worked for almost 7 years, but inside a video game company, I worked for 2 years in Australia. Then I get back to the comics. I stay almost 7 years working exclusive as concept. I think I just did some pages for John because we become friends in these projects. And so every time that he said to me email, he's asked me, "Oh, John, Rod, can you draw 5 pages this month?" I said, "Yes, John, I can draw." And we keep going like that. Like,
in other words, yes, I'm not too proud to beg, and I begged him long enough that he's like, I might as well be friends with this guy because this guy isn't going to go anywhere.
No,
he'd be working his video game job. I'm like, oh man, can you just do a page this month? Can you do 2 pages this month?
and for me, I wish I could stay draw Black Tiger forever because I love the characters. I love John. I love the way that we work it together. It's so freely, it's so creatively. But sometimes I get some other gigs, other comics books to do, or illustration or concept art. And then I need to reschedule my pipeline work. So, but I always try to fit some of the Black Tiger pages in my work schedule. But now with this new era of Indiegogo Kickstarter campaign, we are managing to rise up money to keep moving forward Black Tiger for a long time, and this start to kind of change, and we almost working exclusive together for the last year, producing this new pages of Black Tiger book, and we hope to have succeed in the next campaign to keep producing the other issues of the book. This is the pages of the new book.
This is the new book right here, yeah.
And at that part, I do pencil.
I love the framing. Like,
Pencil
I'm a photographer, and I just love the way this is.
Oh, cool,
like
man!
Movie. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. I always love a movie also, and I try to apply that on my panels. So I like the big camera angles, the close-ups. I like to draw panels that the reader feel inside of the scene. You know what I mean? Not just beautiful pictures or beautiful girls. I like a lot of Brian Hitch and the way that he conducts the storytelling. So even in the scene like that is more like a dream or more fantasy, I like to conduce the eye of the reader in the storytelling.
And that's the fun thing working with Rod. I mean, he's really, made this project in so many ways. When it comes to scripting, Rod knows I will be overly descriptive. I will ask for way too much. And on top of that, I love Kung Fu. So I'm like going to try and choreograph stuff, but we have a really good relationship. So he knows I'm going to ask for the moon. And then there's some things that he sees that can work or that can't work. And then sometimes he just does something that's totally in a different direction. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. So, I mean, this book, it wasn't in the can until it was in the can. I mean, there are even parts of the scripting, that still got tweaked. And the funny thing is it got tweaked because we've produced beyond this another 125 pages so far for the next story arc.
Yeah.
So as we got further into the other story arc, it even kind of influenced some of the stuff we had already written. So, I mean, I really feel like with Black Tiger Legacy of Fury, you're getting a really great book, and it's really set up. I mean, it's leading into the next books, like intentionally doing so. So, and I can't, I mean, working with Rod is so much fun, but he knows I'm a nut. I'm trying to do too much all the time.
Totally. Sometimes I say, John, it's impossible to draw that, my friend. It would be beautiful in a movie, but in a comic book, I would need 10 pages. You know what I mean? So we cut and the work that we have together, and it's so freely artistic. And this is, for me, is very important because I work with many different writers on comic books, and sometimes the writer have the idea very clear in his mind, and he don't want to make too many changes. And John is totally free. So this helped me to improve even more the art for the book.
That's one of the things I had to learn with Tilt, because I've got kind of an anal personality, and I put in a lot of when I do my script, I put in a lot of description of how I kind of see it in my mind. And my artist would, I made myself tell my artist, look, what's on the page there is more for my benefit. If you think something else works better, go for it. And he did a number of times, and it was almost all. I think there was only one instance where I said, no, you got to do it kind of the way I saw it. Other than that, what he did came back a lot better. And frankly, I think it's best that way, because my mind does not work super well with images. Like it doesn't. Well, I can see it, I can visualize things, but one of the reasons I can't do art like like, for example, the dimensions on the arm right there. You're making sure the hand is proportional to the arm, is proportional to the shoulder. I just cannot do that. So it's really, I think it's good, that I just let my artist go at times, because what goes on in my brain may not always translate well to the page.
Yeah, I think that's also the fun, as we work together, because you've got a really good artist for your book too, Doc. I'm looking forward to the second tilt. I'm already on that list, and I enjoyed the first one. Of course,
I appreciate it.
When you're working together, I mean, it's Rod makes the story better. So I mean, it's like I have a script. You need somewhere to start, and I write the script. It's pretty full, and I write it like it was a final script. But Rod takes all the creative license that he needs to, and I think that's what makes this work.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys.
This page is an example. I remember that John asked me for a cool scene in the first panel when Jen shows up on the airport. So I could change this camera and do for another angle, like image 19, and put Jen on the foreground with the ass and all sexy, and put the villain on the back. But I choose to make different. I choose to conduce the eye of the reader, so from the left to the right. So you see the big face of the villain, surprise, look to the Jen, then you falling down for the leg of the Jen for the next panel. So you see the face of the Jen on the next panel, and you conduce your eye through the arm of her, to the arm of the villain. Then you see the face of the villain, then you drops for her chest, and then you see the face of the Evel, Jen friend, and he's pointed to a Jen, so you follow his hand. Then you see the soldier hitting the Jen, and then you see the villain again. Then you follow your eye for the villain weapon. Then you see the soldier again and see what happened. Her jumping. And then you see
over the other two characters. Okay.
Yeah, over the other two characters. And you see the apple directing your eye for her own apple. And then you see the last panel when her escape and kill another soldier. And then you see a small panel of the reporter surprised. So all of this is thinking. I do some layouts, maybe one or two options for him, for John, and then say, man, go for it. But right now, after 15 years working together, I say, John, I will do like that. And I say, man, do it. So this gives me a lot of freedom, and I always think like you said, almost like a move frame, like a storyboard.
Yeah, exactly.
More than comic books. I prefer like that.
Very nice.
And I love it too, because I love the choreography. So I'm always, I'm always like all giddy when I see the pages. I'm like, oh yeah.
All righty, let's take a quick look at your page here, and let me expand it a little bit here. All right. So you're at just over $4,000, and
trying to get to the 100 backer mark on Indiegogo. We're at 94.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Come on, folks.
Only six.
Come on, my incredibly vast audience. Let's let's get this going here. Let's get them up to 100 very soon here. What comes at the 100 backer mark?
Okay, so the 100 backer mark, that is the you get the hard case of the book. So you get the hard cover as well as this hard slipcase. So that product is actually being produced right now. So I wish I could have it in my hands so I could show it to you. But it's like if you have the hard cover of the book, you actually have a slipcase with a wraparound art on it, so you can pull the book in and out of the slipcase. And it has wraparound art on the slipcase.
Okay. Is this kind of what you were talking about right here, or is this something a little more?
So that was initially, that was kind of before, Rod had the great idea for a wraparound cover, and we made the stretch goal. So before it was going to be that cover, but now it's, you're going to get the wraparound art that Rod created, but you're going to get it both on the hardback book, and you'll get the wraparound art in the slipcase for the $100.
Gotcha. Okay, and then this is pretty sure this is the tier I backed.
Yeah. So $25. I mean, $25. You get 172 pages of book. It's a nice thick volume. Beautifully rendered and drawn, and the art I'm ecstatic about from with Rod and everybody. I know I'm flipping this backwards. But we wanted to make sure we're giving people a lot of bang for their buck for $25. And just want to introduce people to the world so they feel good about getting in. And this is printed. So we're shipping these out. Like when these orders come in, we ship these out. So, you'll get yours.
Trying to figure out where mine is. What did I do with it? I can show. I think I uploaded. Yeah, here we go. What do you know? Convenient.
Boom. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, it is 100. I mean, that many pages for $25. That's a pretty damn good deal. I mean, usually I spend 25 and I don't get anywhere near that number of pages. I'm not complaining, mind you. I'm just saying if this goes above and beyond when you're getting to that many. You said 172, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, 172 pages. That is really good for $25. That's quite the deal. And especially, I mean, with some of this, look at that art, folks. Look at that art. I mean, it's just, it's this wonderful realism style, and it's this, for $25, it's a nice deal, really good deal. So if you haven't jumped on it so we can get them up to 100.
We have 6 Greg Horn covers on the inside. So you kind of you get the story, and then you get these kind of digitally rendered Greg Horn covers as well. So we wanted to make sure, especially this is our first rodeo with the comic books, and we just wanted to make sure that everyone comes out of this feeling that they got more than their money's worth and excited for the next volumes.
Okay, so what is like hard-boiled tiger and premium tiger?
So hard-boiled is just the hard cover, but without the slipcase.
Gotcha.
So if you just want the hardcover book, but you don't want the slipcase with it, that's the hard-boiled. And then the premium tiger, that is where you get the hardcover with the slipcase, and you also get one of Rod's original pages.
Yeah, amazing pages.
How big is the page?
Let me show you here, my friend. This is the original of the other page that I was showing you. It's like a regular 11 by 17 inches.
Oh man, I tell you, I'm. How much longer are you going to be in demand?
Well, we've already.
You can see some 11 by 17s behind me, and the one over my left shoulder I bought from Eric. I want to say it was Nino. It might not have been Nino Towski. It was Eric. There's a number of Erics in this movement, so I can't remember. But it was he the Battle Brick Road is the one over my left shoulder. So
I supported that book.
Yeah, 11 by 17s. I'm really kind of into right now, so I may.
It's beautiful frame. I generally work in my iPad. I sketch it over in digitally, so I can change, I can flip, I can resize it. Then I print it in a smaller paper, and then I light table in my table on a thicker paper, and then you have a beautiful. Then I use pens, brush, everything to make the lines.
Yeah.
I'm still.
Hang on, I'll go get the Battle Brick Road one. It's worth taking a look at. I'll be right back.
Please show me, please.
Yeah, definitely grab that.
I will try to find the wrap cover.
Okay, yeah, do that. And Rod is open for the majority of the pages. I know the wrap cover he's going to keep.
Wrap cover.
It's 4 images. Fine. It's actually 4 images that make up the wrap cover. So I know those 4 images he's going to keep. But I think for
sure the other pages,
the other images he's pretty good about letting you guys choose.
Yeah, this was sorry about the light shining into it a little bit, but
oh, nice.
Yeah, you can kind of see here. Yeah, Battle Brick Road is just basically it's kind of a comic book take on the Wizard of Oz, except that Dorothy is a special forces woman, the Scarecrow is an assassin. The Cowardly Lion, Cowardly Lion's not that cowardly. He's some genetically enhanced human, I think, with cat genes. And then the Tin Man is looks like some sort of android. So yeah, I got this off. Cool. Yeah, I got this off of Ethan Van Sciver was holding an auction, and this was one of 3 that I wanted, and the only one that I managed to get the top bid. the other two, it's like, okay, I'm about ready to get. I can't afford that.
Nice.
But at any rate, yeah, this was really nice, and boy, that's some wonderful art. I may just at some point have to break down and get one of those. So I'm gonna put that on my to-do list if I can.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. All right, let's go back for just a second and play the video.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's see the trailer.
Can you hear that?
Tiger.
Nice.
Very,
There it is.
very sweet.
Hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All righty. Anything else you gentlemen want to enthrall us with?
Well, just want you all to know that, we are super thankful for everybody like yourself, Doc, that has supported.
Sure.
At the end of the
Welcome.
day, I'm a big supporter of books, and I think we're all kind of, we're in a new era. Whereas lovers of comic books, we're also producers of comic books. So for me, my disposable comic book dollars have all been going to independent books.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of done complaining about the big two. I'm over it. There's a lot of great indie books that are out there and that are available. I would just say, give it a shot, give it a try. I think for $25, I don't think you'll be disappointed with 172 pages. We just wanted to, unlike you guys, I'm a comic book nerd. I'm a lover of comic books. That's my first and foremost. That's the medium I love the most and the medium I love first. As a kid, and this goes back to the spinning racks. My mom would get me comics and her friends would be like, why do you buy him comics? Because she's like, well, he's reading.
I used to have those ones, the little 45s. I'm probably a little bit older than both of you, but they were little 45s, and then my mom was teaching me to read, and then one day I could just suddenly read the comics without the record. But and the great thing is most of that stuff is now on YouTube, so I can go back and have a little bit of nostalgia.
Nice.
I have the 45 of the Superman 45. And the Fantastic Four one.
Was this the Fantastic Four one where he's got the helmet on that's letting him look back into the past? Is that the one?
Yes.
That was a lot of fun. And I had like Spider-Man, Draco, the Dragon.
Oh, you did?
Oh yeah, Draco.
Cool. No, I didn't have that one.
I might have had when I was younger a couple of Star Trek ones.
Oh
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing them.
We definitely should get that feeling back to the new generation. It's hard to compete with video games, YouTube, and everything, all this distraction. But man, I think the indie comic books is the way. To bring new stories, new characters.
What we're going to need, I think, for the younger generation is we're going to have to find some way to bring the cost down for some of these things. At least the smaller books to $5 to $6, because a teenager, early 20s, is probably doesn't have enough disposable income to be routinely shelling out $25. But if it's like $4, $5, $6, then we'll get them into it. And we haven't quite figured. I mean, Alterna has something going, but we're. But the movement's not there just yet.
It'll get there.
Coming. It'll get there, I think.
It's a volume thing too. I mean, like how it is, Doc. I mean, I printed like $200. And that's between my hardcovers and my soft covers. If you're printing 200, you're not getting those,
the price down.
The economies of scale to be able to have that low price book.
Oh yeah,
you got to print a lot more than what I'm printing.
But I think the one way is to promote the comics as we are doing here in YouTube channels, because the new generation is all inside of YouTube. So this is the way. Promote, market, and to show up yourself to the audience. You take time, like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, to people really know what we are doing here. But I think we are coming up. We are going to the new direction, I believe. And we need to
the other thing is, since you guys are going to one thing I forgot to ask is, when is campaign 2 for part 2? Do you think will that be online?
Yeah, we've been talking about that. I mean, because we have pretty much everything but the letters ready. So I mean, everything else is done, including cover art. So we have about I think we have about 24 more of the soft cover books, and about, I don't know, somewhere between less than 15 or less of the hardcover books. And then this campaign will be shut down. It'll be done because we've already printed, pretty much. So that's a good question, Doc, and maybe that's something I even bounce back at you guys, because you guys are doing campaigns as well. I mean, we're rolling into Christmas season.
Yeah, we're talking about.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
I've been told. I have been told that things kind of slow down sometime late November, and then they don't start picking back up until February. I have not seen that 100% myself, but I'm about to find out. Because I am. Because
you're launching Tilt 2 soon, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm launching Tilt 2. It'll run into December, but as long as I think I'm still launching in October, I should be all right.
Yeah, I think to middle.
The other thing we need to do is, since this is both our second campaign, that means that Ethan Van Sciver will give us a look now, because he changed his. He used to give people with their first edition you could get on there. Now he wants to make sure that you fulfilled your first campaign, which when you think about it, I mean, given the level his channel is at, that's a good, that makes sense in terms of quality control.
It does.
And so at any rate, we I think we need to both need to get on that the second time, because you need it's like I've put together an Excel file based on the data I had from last time to get a sense of how many orders I need to at least break even, and I need about double what I did last time. So it's achievable. I'm not intimidated by it, but I want to get there. So,
and I think that's a smart part of it too. I mean, for Rod and I, this is something that we want to grow this into something that we can do. I want to step away from my day gig. But to do that, you have to treat it like a business, and like you've done, Doc, you have to know what the numbers look like.
Yeah.
And we knew that this first campaign was a lot of it was marketing, and that's the reason why even at the low volumes, we priced the $25 book at that level, because we know that we need to win people's trust right now. Nobody knows us from Adam, and hey, we're asking you to spend money on a book, and believe you me, I have books. There was a tweet that went out a couple of days ago, and they asked about what books have you been waiting for, and how long have you been waiting for some of them? So it made me go back into my Indiegogo and Kickstarter logs, and I've been waiting for some books for almost 5 years.
Well, I know I haven't been waiting that long. I actually have to go back and look.
For the business.
Well, that was something I did realize, though. That's why I really wanted to have half the book done before I launched the campaign, so it would be ready to go to the printer the second the campaign was over. And I got everything. I started shipping within a month of that's the model I want to develop. And I knew, look, I was going to lose money the first time. I knew that was going to happen. But it's about building a customer base. And the other thing to keep in mind is, supposedly, and I'm about to find this out whether or not this is true. I don't believe these things until I actually see it happen.
Exactly.
But supposedly, there's enough customers out there who have been burned just enough times by books that don't fulfill, that they will not buy your first issue. They wait to see if you actually fulfill, and then they will buy it the second time.
So they'll buy the first and the second time.
So of course I'm going to be offering an option of buying the first
first issue on the second campaign.
I'm hoping that's true. It's certainly logically it makes a lot of sense, but
it happens with me. I lose the first campaign of a comic book, and when they released the second book, I bought the option with the one and the second one together. So this is something that I was talking with John. When they released the second campaign, offered up a perk with the option to buy the 1 too. And I think
even with that, I think I'm not going to give people the wraparound cover.
Oh yeah,
because I want to reward those that took a flyer on us and were willing to get the book.
No,
we'll still have a great cover, but they're not going to get the wraparound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have been told that is smart business, and that you want your first time customers to think that they and feel that they got something special.
Exclusive.
I'm coming up with a separate cover for issue number 1 of the reissue. So that was something that I was urged to do, and it's, as I thought about it, I was like, yeah, that actually makes sense. So yeah.
Well, actually, I have another question for you, Doc.
Sure.
I mean, just kind of relatively, doesn't have to be absolute numbers, but like from the numbers that you had that supported your campaign, like what do the numbers look like in terms of signups? Do you feel like you're getting some good conversion from those that supported? I mean, I know I did.
Oh yeah.
You know,
well, I mean, the first night I think I launched the sign up page, I want to say I don't even think the first 24 hours I got 10 signups. When I went back and sent out an email saying, the sign up page is up, I had 34 within 2 hours.
Yeah.
And last time I had 76. I'm at 110 now. So,
nice.
I'm hoping I'm going to be at 200 before I launch. But 110, and I know I'll go up. I'm still going to gain a few from there. So yeah,
But I think is like you said, you need
and
to
trust me. Your book is
campaign.
so good. You're going to have a lot of repeat customers.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Like, nice, thanks.
Appreciate that. I can already tell, man. John, you're a nerd's nerd.
That's me, man. I remember the first time my wife, I took my wife to a comic shop. She was like, "Who are you?" I'm like, this is the other language. I said, you think I don't speak 2 languages? This is the other language I speak.
It's the same here. It's the
same, bro. This is the other language I speak.
Yeah.
Where would I find more of your work, John?
What's that?
Where would I find more of your work?
You can find it at beyondtimecomics.com. So we have comics on our web reader there. Right now, Rod and I are really focused on, we have completed work, so we want to start bringing more of that work to the table. We're just like you guys, just trying to figure out what's the best strategy. Mm-hmm. How do we eventually turn this from just being a hobbyist thing to something that is really a business? I mean, we've gone about it like a business. We've gone to make the highest quality books that we can, books that we feel that can rival any other books out there. So now it's, being, we love the community. It's being a part of the community and just, hopefully people will get to know us as well. And we'll be able to build that fan base.
Yeah. And I said, man, sorry.
It's really good.
No, I appreciate that.
I think you said something about a movie, correct?
Cool.
So we made a short film, and it actually won the Spirit of Comic-Con award back in 2014.
Oh, really?
And it was on.
I think we can find
debuted
it, right?
We debuted it at WonderCon in 2014, and it starred Robin Shue, who was Liu Kang, and it had Angela Fong, who was a WWE diva, and then a lot of other just really talented and hungry actors out there. And that was actually the first time I'd ever crowdfunded. Crowdfunded with a friend of mine from USC who was in the business school, and he was doing another film at the time. But when I kind of gave him my script, he went bonkers, and he was just like, "Yeah, let's make this." So so that was, I'm like you said, I'm a nerd's nerd, man. I mean, I want to, make, comic books first and foremost. That's where it all comes from. And for me, making sure that if there's anything derivative, I want it to be true. That's my big thing. I want it to be true. And my whole thing with comics, if we put it into a comic, I want it to be canon. Because I have no problem with how different companies reboot their universes, but you know what? It's not a good feeling when you read something and it was like a seminal moment in your life. Like I remember where I was, when I read Dark Knight Returns. I remember where I was when I read certain books. I remember where I was. I was on a trip in middle school, and my friend got the Alpha Flight book when Vindicator died. I remember that because Marvin Gaye died at the same time, and I was so sad about both. I was in like such a funk because Marvin Gaye died, and then I read, and then Vindicator blew up, and I was just like, come on, man. I was just,
Come on.
I was in
Not
such,
possible.
I was such a bad place. And some of my other friends were like, dude, why are you mourning over Vindicator? I'm like, look, just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Don't even talk to me.
So
don't
good.
even talk to me. Don't even talk.
Don't talk to me.
But it's like, you know, when you create and you allow people to come along for the ride and people become emotionally invested, you know, and I'm not faulting Marvel and DC because that's their thing. That's their business model. They can keep bringing people back, but that's something that I don't and I won't do, because once you get people vested, you know, then and you tell a story, you cheapen it. You know, once you undo something that you've done. So that's one of the things that I talk with Rod about when we're doing things. We do some crazy stuff. It's like, okay, we got to live with this though. Okay, we got to live with this. Now the company is called Beyond Time, so I will go back and tell some stories about folks that happened previously.
Yeah,
but you know, unless I'm telling a Jesus story, I'm not raising anybody from the dead. You know,
oh man, no,
I'm not doing that.
I'm out of
But,
this.
you know, DC kind of cheats. You know, they've got the Lazarus pits now. So
oh, damn.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, gentlemen, we need to finish up the show and go through the last comic that we have. I really appreciate you taking your time to come on here and talk about your comic and talk about comic books more generally. And yeah, we will definitely have you back. Certainly when we'll have you back when it comes time for the sign up page for issue 2. In addition to having you back when the campaign launches. So
appreciate that big time.
Appreciate, bro.
Absolutely. All righty. You take care, gentlemen.
All right.
See you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All righty. Let's finish up with the Oswald Chronicles here. And we'll just start with
really good.
Yeah, they were great guests. Great guests. The Oswald Chronicles by J.D. Calderon. Overall, I liked it. I mean, I liked the art. I liked the story. I was, for the most part, able to follow the story. It's kind of epic fantasy with, instead of a hobbit, you have a mouse. And the first story involves the mouse it goes through the origin of how the mouse learns to talk, and then befriends this young girl who's dying and is being harmed by these little goblins. And she eventually passes on. He does not, he doesn't turn this, at least does not turn issue 1 into a happy ending. And then issue 2, the mouse meets up with these 2 young, they look like elves to me, and I'm not 100% certain what they were, but hang on, I can actually, give me just a second here. So yeah, second one, they look like, I'm assuming they were elves, and they are later captured by orcs. It was when they started bringing in the queen orc that the story started getting a little confusing to me, although he picked it back up. But overall, I enjoyed the stories here. It was a fun read. I am not huge into epic fantasy, so anytime an epic fantasy comic can actually hold my attention, I know it's done a pretty good job. I had 2 complaints about the comic. One was that, my goodness, there is tons and tons of words. I mean, the page is filled with them, and it's a lot of explaining. Maybe we need a little more showing rather than telling here. And sometimes, I mean, at times I felt like if I wanted to read this many words, I'd probably pick up a novel. One of the great things about comics is that you can balance out the words with the graphics, with the images, and I think there's a little bit more that he needs to do with this. Also, and I particularly noticed this in issue 2, is there was a lot of problems with punctuation, with run-on sentences and so forth. So the lettering needed some work. But those are my 2 complaints. Other than that, I am glad that I did purchase the Oswald Chronicles. There's more to come, and I am looking forward to them. They've got some good cliffhangers. So yeah, how about you, Alexander?
Most of our points mirror, I'd say. I would say, reflecting on it again, it's not even the amount of words, it's the fact that the prose and whatnot does not flow well, and so
Bless
it
you.
makes the act of reading it itself a bit tedious, if it makes sense.
Yeah, no, there's tons of like, as you can see here, I mean, the very first page, you have these very large exposition boxes, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them on the first page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on page. Well, really 9 on page 2. Again, I understand you have some things to explain here, but I was reading over this. I thought it could be edited down quite a bit. And again, if you want to read these many words, you're probably looking for a novel and not a comic book. So, but I mean, those are problems that can be solved. It's not like you have a story that doesn't make any sense. It's not like you've got bad art here. The basics are there, and fortunately all you need is some a little bit better editing and a little more care on the lettering. Okay, anything else?
No, that's I agree.
Yeah. Alrighty. There is a link to the Oswald Chronicles in the description below. If you're really into epic fantasy, I think you will enjoy these two. And yeah. Alrighty. Alexander, I am going to dump you out now. I want to just because I've got a little bit of a personal message that I just want to do by myself. So thank you again. It was a joy, and I will talk to you soon.
All right, man. Let you go.
All righty, bye. Okay, I just wanted to mention the reason why I am not going to be on the why there will be no show next week. And give me just a second here. Share screen. All righty. The reason I am not going to be on the show next week. This here is my grandmother, Evelyn Montaldo. She we call her Nani. That is Italian for grandmother. This is here. She is with my 9-month-old son. First time she got to meet him. And unfortunately, Nani passed away on Friday. She had been sick for a little while, and but she was 99 years old. So she lived a very, very long time. And the funeral will be next Tuesday, the day that I run this show. So I will be out in California celebrating her life, grieving her, grieving her death. And even if I could get things organized for a show out there, I probably will not be in any emotional shape to do so. I'll just show one more picture here before I just tell you a little bit about her. That's me and her in a selfie a couple months back. She basically grew up in Sonoma, California, and lived there most of her life. Got married when she was 18, had 6 children, 7 grandchildren. The children were 2 sons and 4 daughters. My mom is the oldest of the siblings, and all the grandkids were grandsons. All 7 of them were grandsons, and then the first 2 great grandchildren were daughters. And now 2 more great grandchildren were sons. She was beloved, I think, not just by her family, but also by many, many in her community. And one of the things I am sad about is that we're not going to be able to have a church service, because I suspect it would be very, very well attended. My grandfather, her husband, Charles, named my son after him. When he passed away over 20 years ago, the church was pretty well packed. I mean, they were very well liked and respected in the community. And I don't think I could have asked for a better grandmother. It was one of those things where when every time you went over to house, there was French bread, there was salami, there was ice cream. And, my mom would say, oh, they don't need anything else. My grandmother would say, no, they're growing boys, And, But she could also drop the hammer if she needed to. Having raised 6 Italian kids will help you develop those skills pretty well. And but she didn't have to do that very often with her grandkids. With grandkids, the nice thing is you can always send them home. But she was a wonderful woman in so many ways, and I'm going to miss her. And I think that will do it for this week. So thank you for everyone who showed up, and God bless you all. And I will see you in 2 weeks.